Good day, everyone. Our topic for today is about the Python while loops. I hope before you continue watching this video, I suggest to watch the previous video, which is about the control flow, so you can go along with me. Because if you will go directly here, you might be able to be confused. Alright? So, what is exactly the focus of our topic for today? Well, I'll be focusing on the use of while, the for loops, and I'll try to include the infinite loop as well. And we will try to incorporate the break and perhaps apply the use of continue, including the past. So, let's start now. But first, let's try to define what is an iteration. Okay, as you can see here in the flowchart, example, you have a problem that you want to display, like a simple happy birthday, like happy birthday for 10 times, and you want to display also happy birthday 1, happy birthday 2, and happy birthday 3, and so on. So for that case, we need to have the iteration. So this iteration is actually very useful and powerful structure, and it allows you the repetition of the instructions or statements in the loop body. As you can see here, if the condition is true, it will go back and it will continue to allow you to perform or execute the instruction. Once the condition is false, then that's the only time that the execution will stop. Now let's continue. The iteration, there are different types that includes the while loop, the for loop. In the for loop, we will use the in, the range, and enumerate. Actually, the range and the enumerate are almost just the same when it comes to the output, but it's up to you which one do you prefer to apply. But some programmers would recommend to use the enumerate because it's more Pythonic compared to the range. Let's see, we will find out later. Now, when we start writing about the while loops, there are things that you need to consider and understand. And what are these? These are the parts of the iteration of a while structure or the for loop. It start off with the loop body, wherein that is where you can see the instructions or the statements where you need to do some repetition. And in the loop exit condition, that's the condition that you need to test before the repetition happens. So this one is really important to understand. But what is exactly a while loop? Okay, when we're talking about the while loop, this one, it tries to repeat this statement or a group of statements while the condition is true. So when is the time wherein your condition would be set as true? If the condition is unknown. However, if you know the condition, then you don't need to put it true because automatically the program will be the one to analyze it. It depends on your condition because it will be tested, or the condition will be tested before the executing whatever is inside the loop of your program inside the body. Okay, later you will understand what I'm trying to say. Now, this for loop will actually do some looping execution as well inside the code block multiple times. Okay, somehow they can be related for each other, or you can also combine it, or maybe apply the nested loops. So when we say nested loops, we can actually iterate a loop inside another loop. Okay, so that, okay, and there are things as well that you can control the while or the for loop. Then there is a need for you to apply the control statements. So these control statements are actually used to control the loops and change the direction or the course of iteration. This is what we call the control statements. And all the objects being produced within the local scope of the loop will be deleted every time there will be some execution, or when the execution is completed. Okay, now might be asking one to use the while loop and the while loop. Well, one, loops that are dependent on a sentinel value or indicator. Okay, or perhaps the for loop is used for traversing and manipulating arrays, or when the number of times that the loop will be executed, meaning it is known. The for loops might provide a convenient shorthand for that case. So these are the common loop applications. This is just one of the examples. Let's say you will ask the user to enter all the numbers, and then after entering all the numbers, it will be sum up or add all the numbers being entered. So it would be solved easily with the use of the loop. Now this is also similar to control, wherein the values will change each time the loop is entered. Example, if I want to say enter subject 1, enter subject 2, enter subject 3. So that is an example. There is a accumulators. It will try to add up every time it will do some iteration. So let's have an example here based on the syntax of the for loops using the while loop, I mean. So our syntax here, while, and then you had here the condition. Okay, the static, there is the condition. This is where you're going to put your condition. Now in this case, the condition here is number less than 6. So what's the equivalent of the number here? Number is being initialized with 1, and the condition here, while number is less than 6, then it will print the number first with the 1, and then why it becomes 2? It's because this one, number equals to number plus 1, so there's an increment in this part. As you can see, it will only stop listing all the numbers once it reaches or meet the condition. As you can see here, it already stopped in the 5 because 5 is actually less than 6. And if ever you want to display it as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, then you have to change this into 0. Okay. Now, what do you think happens if in case I'm going to add here, and or let's say this is an equal sign? What will happen? Of course, the value would be until 6 if ever this is less than equal. But if in case the value, let's say this one is 0 and this one is 5, and then it will only display here, start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but 5 is not included. Okay. Now, the challenge is, what if I want to have the output like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? What do you think is the solution for this one? Can you guess? If I want to have this output example, as you can see here, this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you think is the solution? Let's try to run the program. Okay, so from here, what's the condition? Let's say I'm gonna type here number 2, 1. That's the original, right? While number, was it greater than 6? 6 front, what did it say? Front number. Then number plus equals to 1. Okay, so if you're going to run this one, oops, what do you think is missing here in my code? Aha, try to observe, and there is something wrong, and it's because I assign you here with 1, so there is a infinite loop for this. That's why there's no output. Okay, it's supposed to be, okay, 1 plus equal. Okay, there you are. What's 1, 2, 5? Can you see it? Okay, did you see the output? Can you see, or it's not too clear? Okay, take a look here, the code that we're just trying to run the program so you can see the output. That's 1, 2, 5. Now, just like what I mentioned earlier, if I'm going to type this one to 0, and if you're going to run it, the output would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let me clear off this one. So if I'm going to change this and to with equal sign, did I get it right? What do you think can happen here? So it means 6 will be included. So there is totally different if you're going to add less than equal. Now, based on my challenge a while ago wherein I want to have the output like this: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How are we going to do that? Okay, let me zoom out first with this one. Okay, now we need to fix the code so that we can display the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Since it's a descending, therefore we had to change this and to 5, and for this one we have to replace this with 1 instead. Since we want to display it in descending order, which is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, therefore we need to replace this one with minus. Okay, because every time from this one 5, it would be like this. First iterations, it start with 5, and then since the formula here is number equals to something like this, let me equivalent of this one is number equals to number minus 1. So what's the equivalent of number, which is 5, right? Okay, that's why every iteration there is a deduction. Now if we will try to run with this one, what's out? 5, 4. Now what happened here? Why 1 is not included? It's because put here, or unless we put that one. Let's try to run again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you have it. Okay, that's very okay. Let's proceed now to the next topic. Okay, our next topic is about calculating the sum of numbers until the users enter 0. So in this case, we will be asking the user to enter a number. It can be unlimited number since we are trying to apply here the while condition. And if the user enters a number other than 0, it adds the number to the total and asks the user to enter a number again. So whenever the users enter 0, the loop terminates the program and display the total. Okay, so how does it work? We can try to write the program for that case. Okay, let me, okay, sorry. Where's my VS Code? Okay, let's try to, what do you call this one? Run. Let me clear up this one, and you will try to ask the user to enter for a number. Okay, let me just close this one. INT in, oops, keep on writing that one. enter a number. So let's just finish it. And then what is next? Are we going to initialize the, what's our condition here? What's our condition? We will initialize 0 is total, then one condition. Okay, then we're going to add it again. Let me go back to my code. Okay, total equals to 0. While okay, let's continue. I'll just type again. Number not equals to 0. Okay, then we're going to have total, total plus equals to number. Then okay, now let me try to zoom in this one so you can see it clearly. Okay, now we will try to type again this number int. Okay, input, enter a number. Now after asking it, we had to align the product front, the, let's say I can just put it this way. The sum is, I can just simply put this way, colon, colon, and put a curly brace, colon the total, something like that. Okay, so if we will try to run this program, it will continue to ask the user to enter a number. Now let's try to run. Enter a number. 8, 6, 5, 10, and 6. Assuming I will stop it now, so I will enter the 0. So if you can see here, if while the number not equals to 0, it will continue to ask to enter a number. Now I'll be entering 0, it will stop. It will sum up the total. The sum is 35. Okay, there's the, so we were able to test now the program. The challenge that I'm going to give you, so what if, let's say you would ask the user to say enter a grade 1, let's say this is 90, and then enter a grade 2, say this is 89, enter a grade 4, 3, this is 78, then enter a grade 4, and if I enter 0 here, it will stop same concept, then it will display the average grade is. So it will display here the average grade. We will try to revise the code. Now, how are we going to do that? Okay, for that scenario, of course, since we are trying to add another one, we have to add a formula which is called mm, what they call this one, average. So this average should be equals like whatever the total divide by the count. So what does it mean? In count, what is this count? Okay, it depends on the number of entries. So for that case, we need to initialize here count to 0. But in this case, there will be some problem. But before I will tell you what that problem is, let's try to run this one first. Okay, and since we added here the sum, okay, let me add first the total, the average. Oh no, not the sum, sorry. So the average grade is, this become now the average grade is, and instead of total I will be calling in the average now. Okay, let's try to run this one. What will happen? Enter a number 90. Oh, so there must be something wrong in our formula. It says here division by 0. We have some syntax error. Okay, let's go back into our code. Now let's try to fix this one. Okay, before I provide you with the solution, what do you think is the problem here? What went wrong into our program? Do you have any idea why we had that problem? Can you guess? What do you think? Do you have any idea how does it happen? Oh, what do you think? So there are many solutions for this. Since our output has some error, well, since we already declared here the count, while the total is also being declared here. Is it right to declare the total here? Not exactly. But instead, we will try to fix this one first. Since we are asking for a grade, okay, I'm gonna replace this with a grade. Okay, now replace it with a grade. And how about our count? Oh, total number. So I'm gonna change this into grade now, referring to this one, whatever grade being entered. Then The average, do you think it should be put it here? I think it should be what we miss here. Let me total plus count. Oh, we need to include here the count. Okay, this one, count plus 1, since we need to count up. Let's try to see this one first and what will happen. Let's see what happened. Intergrade 90. Oops. There is still an error. The number, oh, I forgot. Sorry. Okay, let me close this one. I forgot this is supposed to be grade. And this is also grade. I forgot that I already changed that. Okay. Sorry about that. 90, 89, 78, let's say 85. Now I will try to enter 0. What will happen when I enter 0? Will it add and get the average? Let's find out. Oh, there you have it. Okay, so I get it. Now it's working. So what about if I will, oh, there is one thing that I miss. As you can see here, only the first part, enter grade, but the others, it says enter number. Then I haven't fixed the code yet. Let's close this one. Where can I find it in the error? Oh, there you are. So we were able to change this one, but we were not able to change this. Supposedly this is also grade. Okay, let's try to run again. I'll be putting here 90, 78, 89, 93. Then let's try to type 0. Okay, the average grade is 87.75. This one is better now. Did you see how does it work? So what about if we will try to add like enter grade 1, enter grade 2, just like what I had shown to you a while ago. Since we already have displayed the average, now we can also add something here. So there's a solution. All I need to do, maybe I can use the F string here. Then if I want to add something here like enter grade 1, enter grade 2, then I need to add a count plus 1. Okay, same here in this option. We'll also try to add count plus 1. Okay, let's try to run this one. That's it, it works. See, there's now enter grade 1. It's because this one the count, and we also hear the count. This is where the alteration work. Okay, let's say this is 78, and as you can see, it tries to iterate again. 90, 75, then 93, let's say 95, and I press now 0 to end. So there you are. The grade is 86.2. It's very clear now. Okay, what about the users didn't try to enter. Let's say did not enter any grade at all. What will happen? Let's try. So at where I put grade. So what if the user did not enter? So it will get some error. What do you think would be our solution for that? As you can see, there is an invalid literal, meaning I didn't put anything. Supposed to be, it's added some, you know, an option. Okay, an option to, what do you call this one? We can actually also write like an else option, or the other one is it's a grade. Let's try to use with the if else option as well. Since I'm using the while, what I'm saying is we can combine it with the if else condition. Okay, let me just hide this portion. Okay, let me hide this one. Let's try to create another one. So for this case, I'll be using the while true, and the while true I'll be asking the grade. So therefore this one I'll be removing it and put it here. Okay, then from here I'll be adding some if condition. If grade to 0, then it will break. Then it will do some total plus equals to grade. Then we will also apply the count option here. Count plus 1 for the iteration for this. Now we can also add another if. Count not equals to 0, and we will now calculate the average. Average equals to total by the count, because it depends on the number of entries. Here you can now print, say, if string. We will try to apply the average grade is, then okay, that's it. Then we're going to add an else option here. So in the else, it will say no grades were entered. Try again. Okay, I think this one is better now. So we were trying to make some improvements, so you will not be confused. Okay, I'm trying to hide this option. Okay, let me just delete this one. Okay, let's try to run. 89, 90, 78, 89, then enter. Oh, there's still something wrong. in my code. Uh-huh. Supposed to be no, no entered. So break. So what do you think is the solution for this one? So we can fix it. What do you think? There's something missing in the code. Okay, we will try to fix this code. As you can see, this part of the code, when you will try to enter, let's say, I'm going to enter 0, uh, it ends the program right away, and it will display no grades were entered. What I want to do is, what if the user enters nothing, like this one. Okay, so I run, and let's say here I enter a grade, and the next line I entered anything, or just simply blank, I just enter, so there is an error. How can we solve this problem? Okay, and what we can do is apply the error handling, and it suggested there is a value error, although the topic is not yet about the error handling. How can we do that? So for that, here in the while true, we will try to add the try. So the try option, this is where the program which is running, we're going to put it under this part. So I'll just make some tabbing in here and including this. Okay, so you can see how it should be done. Now, in this case, under the try, this one works well on this part of the code. We will add the word except. Okay, except is actually part of the Python error handling special keyword, word except, and try to catch the error. And this command except value error, this one, the value error will actually give you the chance to create your own message. Instead of displaying the error of the code, you can create your own message. It's like customized message. So I'll just say print, and let's say invalid entry. Okay, please enter a valid grade, something like that. Okay, okay, this is what we wanted to add into our code. Okay, so let's try to run again. Okay, so we made some improvement in our code. As you can see, we added some error handling. Actually, in Python there are different kinds of error handling, but for now, let's just focus on this one. If ever I entered something which is not right, then this part of the code will be displayed. Let's try to run. See, 90, 89. Let's say if I try to nothing, let's say I'll just enter. Okay, invalid entry. Please try and please enter a valid grade. Okay, now when I press 0, okay, it's now the average grade. So it's working now. It's really important to make some improvement. I know for a beginner like you might be confused. So what is this try? Actually, there are a lot of what you call this one error handling in Python, which is very important as well that you need to learn. Although for now I'm just giving you some snapshot how does it work, or how can it be implemented, since the Python error handling, there are some like type error, syntax error, name error, including the index error, etc. So this value error, okay, this one, actually this kind of exception is being raised when a function or method is called with an invalid argument or input. Just like a while ago, I entered a blank. So that particular argument or input, which is a blank, it will be converted into something that can represent a message that somebody can be understood. Example, here you created your own message, but although if you don't want to, print this option, apply, or let's say like that only. Okay, let me try to show it to you. Okay, oops, see, there is a missing part of the code. Okay, see, there is a missing part of the code. There are a lot of things that you can actually with the let's say if you want to add more exceptions, you just simply add here except, something like that. And let's say if it's about valid syntax, all you need to do, just type in, let's say, except syntax error. You just simply print syntax error. Okay, another exception. Except example, this one, when you are trying to divide a number which is in 0, then let's say, sorry, it cannot divide a number by 0, something like that. So this particular type of error, the 0 division error. Okay, but this is only applicable when you are trying to calculate a division. So in this part of the program, this is not applicable here. Okay, It means that you can identify what would be the appropriate error handling method where you can catch the error. So for this case, this one is not applicable since this is about entering grade. I'll just erase this one. While the syntax error, this kind of exceptions being raised when the interpreter encounters a syntax error in the code, such as incorrect keyword or a missing colon or unbalanced parentheses. So this is actually applicable when you are creating a program that can actually check if there are some errors in the code. So for this program, it cannot check on the syntax unless you will create your own scanner. Anyway, there are more lessons about error handling. You can try to check on that as well. Alright, so I'll just stop my recording on this part. We will just continue for another example in the next video. I think that will be all for this time. I hope you have learned something.